See, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. Born in 1970. So I suppose you could say teen years of the 80s and all that. And back then, mental health and behavioural problems were addressed completely different. They weren't labelled up like we have today. Somebody's ADHD or half the fucking alphabet after the name of conditions. Things were identified back then, more severe cases. But generally, kids who you'd class as ADHD and all those kind of things were just in with the regular kids, which they kind of are now today, but it's more identified, isn't it, that the kids have got this attention behavioural problem. I didn't in my day. We were just classed as troublesome kids who didn't pay attention, you know. And that's why I lived on the naughty boy table most of the time with 4 other regular inmates. And I recall one afternoon of mayhem, keeps coming back to me because it's funny as fuck for me, how we're just pissing about in the class most of the time, giving the teachers stress. I can't remember how it all starts, but I know I'm sat at the square of the table and the window's directly in front of me looking out at the back of the school. And we've got plants and stuff. There's a lad called Mickey Ross who's just on the corner next to the window. He's not concentrating on his work. He's pissing around with his maths set, and he's got one of these kind of things. He had gaps in his teeth. And he's been sitting there doing this for ages. Right, until this thing wedged into the gap in his teeth and he could hold it with his jaw. You know, without holding it with his hand, and it was sticking out of his mouth like that. Stuck in there. So I fucking across the class, across to the art corner, grabbed a ton of plasticine and come back. Mickey's still sat in the corner going, like this. He's special fucking needs, whatever, he's got problems. Like that. I just get a ball of plasticine, best shot ever. It hits the thing in his mouth, it sets ground, it snaps off and leaves a little bit of plastic between his teeth. He's spitting out. Then across from him, Tim, I can't remember who it was, or Adam, for no apparent reason whatsoever, got a pair of scissors out and cut halfway through one of the stems of the plant on the windowsill, just after I knocked out Mickey's protractor from his mouth. This plant just keeled over, went dunk. The kid then proceeds to get a fucking roll of sellotape out of his tray and fucking band-aids the plant back up with sellotape, carries on with his work. Right? There's a bit of a plasticine fight going on between me and Mickey now. And there's bits going all over the place. And the teacher's telling us off through all of this mayhem, by the way. We're not being let off. We're just being told to quieten down. And it's over a bit of a time. And we're going back to the fucking art corner, go and get more bits of clay and plasticine. And at one point I couldn't even be bothered to walk back to my chair, so I just got a handful of clay and launched it clean across the room at one of the lads. And unfortunately crashed through some of the geometric shapes and things we'd been making, mobiles and hanging from the ceiling, and I wiped out about 3 mobiles getting a shot across the room. That landed me up in front of the head teacher, that one. I can't remember what the punishment was. Stand in the hall all week with your face to the wall every break time or something like that. Shit. It was just constant mayhem. We just never buckled down because we were just unruly kids and they didn't know how to deal with us. I think, what else happened that day? I'd had some of the lads sat next to me, he'd done something to me. I can't remember what the hell it was, whether he snapped something, drew all over something, I can't remember. He damaged something of mine. So at break time I snuck back into the class, found his tray, got his train spotter's numbers book out, and found the pages where he'd been marking trains off and cut those pages out so the book was left blank again. You didn't realise for fucking ages. Where's the numbers I had? Fucking disappeared. They're in the bin, mate. Fuck this Train Spotter book. Oh God, I could remember loads from the school we're at, St Margaret's. Just things how we used to piss around in class. You know, we couldn't do anything straight. Normal, everything was a piss about. It's just the way we were. And like I say, they didn't have the classification or the ways of dealing with kids like us back then because it just wasn't in place. You know, we weren't pigeonholed like, oh, ADH alphabet, YZ, XYZ. Bloody hell. Life at junior school, man, it was mad.